You know, the other crazy thing I was thinking about, how I'm like, it's such a waste to have to use your sick days because you're actually sick. Like, you get PTO, but no one wants to use PTO for when they're not feeling well. Like, I want to use PTO to go have fun, like, not to be home and not feeling good. Like, such a waste. I ended up using a floating holiday though, because my PTO is not loaded yet with my new job, even though I'm supposed to be getting like 51 hours. So that's okay. But I don't like missing work. I don't like not feeling well. It's just not a good feeling overall. But unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, like, there's some jobs where you can put up with, you know, not feeling well and working, but I work with kids. And that's the other thing I was thinking about too. It's just like, when you're a parent, you never get an off day. Like, you can't call out from taking care of your kids even when you're not feeling well. And I just thought of like a childhood memory. I remember like one time my mom was like really, really sick. Um, and I was probably, I think we were still in Texas. It's either in Texas or Colorado, but I just remember my mom was really not feeling well. I was like 6 or 7. My younger sisters were like 4 or 5. And just, thinking of like being a parent and having all of these small children who you still got to take care of even when you're like having like the worst symptoms, or not feeling great, or just going through it. As a mother, I'm like, that's has to be so challenging. Like, parenting is a job you never really get a break from. I guess that's when you would call for like, parent or someone, or hopefully you have someone to help you. That's why I'm like, being a single parent is just not something I would ever plan. Um, and single parents, you guys have a really, really hard job, not having, especially if you don't have any support system. Like, at least have a friend, mom, parents, sister, brother, someone who you could count on, or have help. Because I'm like, it's just no way it's possible for one person to raise a child all on their own. Like, it should never have to be like that for anyone. But unfortunately, things happen. I might try to do some little skincare tonight, but I'm not making any promises. If not tonight, tomorrow, because there's something about, I don't know, y'all, if this is true. I feel like I've been breaking out a lot because I've been fasting, and I low-key feel like something about fasting like brings the impurities. It like makes your body try to get rid of your impurities faster, in my opinion. And so I think like you break out more, or maybe I'm just making it up. I don't know. I feel like I'm like my body's cleaning out my system now, and so I keep getting all of these like random pimples because I basically have been fasting for the past 3 days. So I might start alternate day fasting again. It's really, like I said, I made a video talking about it. It's really not hard for me to fast when I don't feel well, because you just don't have the appetite. And I was struggling. I ate like so. The only food I've eaten, I probably had about 6 little like mandarin oranges, 1 banana, and juice, and a salad. In the past 3 days, that's all I've eaten. So it's not I just feel like let me not film too close to my face. Basically, though, I end up doing a fast while I'm sick, and it kind of resets my system a little bit, cleans out all of the bad stuff, which is why I feel like my face breaks out. You know what's so crazy? I'm looking at my nails and I'm like, I didn't take my nail polish off. So I'm like, I literally let my nails, like, you can kind of see a little bit layer, but I literally let my nail polish like fade all the way off my nails, y'all. That's so bad because I just haven't done or felt like doing my nails. Anyways, I don't mind fasting, honestly. Not just for weight loss, but like spiritual reasons as well. I feel like it can be very beneficial. Me, I've really only done fasting specifically for like weight loss purposes. But you could also do like spiritual fast and everything. I'm not sure if that's something like my younger sister just finished a 40-day fast, which and it was like a spiritual fast because 40 days is how long Jesus fasted in the Bible, and I'm sure she had to have lost like so much weight doing that. But she did it for spiritual reasons, which is, I'm really proud of her for that. And I'm just like, I don't know if I could do a 40-day fast just off the bat, but I feel like that a 40-day fast like that is really like a spiritual thing more than like anything else, like. And I feel like that's the type of fast where it's just like you are really, really have to learn self-control. So anyways, I can do alternate day fasting like I was doing before because that was a little bit easier for me. Like going a day without eating is not super challenging for me. So yeah. The real thing is, it's just like I want to make sure I'm still like maintaining like if you lose weight too fast, like I still need to make sure I'm able to work out and fat on days that I fast, because I don't want to like lose my like fitness side of things, because like you can lose weight and still not be in shape. Like from fasting, you're just putting yourself in a caloric deficit, so you lose weight, but you also lose like muscle, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in shape or fit. Like I want to still be healthy and have like, muscles. So all of that to say, I probably will. It's crazy though. I pretty much started August fasting. So Thursday was the 1st of August, and that was when I started not feeling well. So I ate actually nothing that day. It wasn't until Friday, yesterday, that I ate like the oranges and bananas that I had, and then I tried to eat a salad. And then I've been try to drink liquids at least, because when I say fast, I mean like I'm not eating like any meals, and I'm drinking lots of fluids, obviously, because no one can survive without like water or liquids. Like you could go without food for a minute, but you cannot go without liquids. Like I have to make sure I drink plenty of water and plenty of fluids. So I drink like Powerades and body armor just to like replenish my electrolytes, so I'm not like really feeling overwhelmed. But also after a while you do lose your appetite. Like if you go a long enough time without eating, you'll start to notice you really aren't that as hungry as you think you are. and your hunger goes away. Like, hunger honestly is more mental than it is physical. And I feel like I learned this at my what was it? My fitness camp I went to. Like, hunger is triggered by this hormone. Can't remember what it's called at the moment, but it's like the opposite of the stress hormone, cortisol, and then the other one was, I can't think of it. It's in my notes somewhere. But hunger is triggered by a hormone, and that hormone is actually what wakes you up in the morning. In a sense, like your need for food. And also, if you think about it, like when you really eat a lot, it makes you tired, gives you the itis, because it turns off the hunger hormone that's like keeps you up. I don't know how, I can't really explain it. I'm not explaining it right. But actually, I have no problem with like fasting personally. It's just like doing it long term is, I don't know if that's something I'll be able to maintain, but I want to do it for at least a good enough, long enough period to like get to a healthier weight, which for me, honestly, I guess since I'm talking about like more weight loss stuff and like my fitness journey goals, I feel like my weight, like the amount of weight I probably need to lose is closer to 100 pounds at the moment. So, oh my gosh, what is going on? I'm sorry, y'all. Did I cut my knee? What the heck? When did I cut my knee? I've got like a little scar on my knee and I don't know what it's from. I could probably still lose like 100 pounds at least. So my goal is by my 29th birthday, I want to be under 200, which my current weight is, my heaviest weight, y'all, I think was like 250 something, 252, 253. I don't remember being more than I remember seeing 252, 253. When I went to the Biggest Loser resort, my starting weight there was like 251, and I think I left there at 247 or 8. Like, it wasn't anything major. But that was for 1 week. But my goal is, so it's August, September, October, November. In 4 months, I want to be under 200. Currently, I don't know what the most accurate weight. I weighed myself this morning. I was 238 even. So I do think it's feasible for me to be under 200 by my 29th birthday. And then my next summer, basically, I just want to be like in shape. I want to be able to just like run a mile again and just be in like overall better physical health. So that's one of my goals for myself that we are going to be a little bit more focused on, because I feel like I kind of go on and off with focusing on it, but I do feel like I'm kind of like, okay, I guess it's like time now to, get ourselves in shape finally. I only have one more year left in my 20s, and I don't want to spend it still being overweight. So we're about to get on our Zoom, get on our grind, and just get, ourselves mentally, spiritually, and physically just at my best. And, the more I feel like work you put into taking care of your body, mind, soul, spirit, all of those things work to help you just feel better about yourself overall. Like, the most important thing I do think still for me is always going to be my relationship with God. Always has to come first, because that affects like how I feel about my whole life, honestly. So if I'm slacking in that area, which I would say is like this my spiritual, if I slack in that area, like nothing else is going to be right. So like prioritizing my spiritual health in my relationship with God is what helps me to overall work on all of the other areas in my life. Having a better attitude, not sweating the little things. I do think I've learned to be a lot more patient, even though like I had my whole mental breakdown over the car stuff, on Wednesday. After that, I was just like, you know what? My AC's gonna get fixed when it can get fixed. Like, I can't do anything about it. All of the annoying little things that have stopped it from happening, but I just have to trust, like, it's gonna get resolved when the time is right, and I can't worry or focus on something I can't control. So just still learning how to not sweat the little things and take a lot of the hiccups and bumps life throws at me. What do they call it? Stoicism. Well, stoicism's almost different. Stoicism is like you just have no reaction to anything that happens, and that I feel like is almost a trauma response. Like someone has had so much bad stuff happen to them that they just don't even react to horrible things happening anymore. That I feel like is more out of trauma, as a trauma response. I'm just saying, like, taking things in stride and not letting, minor things affect you to the point where you're like crying and sobbing. And I was telling my sister this. I was like, you let really small things ruin your day. And I'll tell her about what I'm dealing with. She was like, well, yeah. She's like, well, yeah, I told her, like, I guess I'm just used to, like, a lot of things not working out my way at this point. And so it doesn't even, like, trigger me or bother me that much. And I feel like it's always made me, like, stronger. It's always made me, like, better. Like, just having, like, constant, constant annoying things happen or inconvenient, or just, I don't know, maybe people would say bad things happen. You just learn to not sweat those things anymore. So it's made me more patient. I'm grateful for that. I still think I have a lot of patience, but I could probably have more. I want to be more patient, more kind. What are all of the fruits of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. Self-control is one of the biggest ones I need to work on, especially when it comes to spending money on things I do not need, y'all. Like, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I am very financially immature, and it is putting me so much behind a lot of my goals, because I continue to spend money on things I don't need, and it's just not something I don't want to have to keep like learning the same lesson over and over again. And that's kind of been the cycle I've been stuck in. listen to the song Cycles by Jonathan McReynolds. It's a great song, but basically exactly that. Like, I've been stuck in the cycle of just like financial trial or turmoil, or I don't even know how else to explain it, but it's like I just am like really taking a step back and being like I need to learn how to actually manage my finances and have like self control over my spending, because until I have that, I'll never be able to get to like a better financial situation, no matter how much money I'm making. Cause, and I know, like, I've seen people comment this before, and I just want people to know, I've recognized that. I recognize this before anyone ever told it to me. Like, if you don't know how to manage money well, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you'll always be struggling. And that's something I know I have to work on, because even though, like, yes, some of my, and I know this is going to sound conflicting, there's problems that I have that are going to be limited by how much money I actually make, right? Like, if I don't make enough money to afford rent, that's going to be a problem regardless of how I manage my money, right? But managing that little amount of money poorly just is not helping either, right? So it's just like there's two problems, but both are important in order for me to have like a better, just financial stable life. And I also think like there's so many people who are struggling in their finances, especially with how expensive things have gotten, y'all. Like, inflation, the cost of living is high. Like, there's so much stress that so many people are under, and that's one thing I'm like, and I can feel like even with my dad, like he's under some financial stress right now, and I know that's why he's really, really, really wanting me to be moved out so that he can start renting this house as soon as possible. However, I I just don't think it is I don't think he's really thinking through like how much work it actually is to rent a house and what all the things he has to have. And anyways, that's just another video I can make. But basically, a lot of people are under a lot of financial stress. There's a lot of people struggling to pay their bills, and you shouldn't feel ashamed if you are someone struggling with their finances. Been there, done that so many times. We're still working on, that ourselves, but I also have to recognize that there are problems I've created with my finances by making financially poor decisions. And I just am like, I need to be like, if there's one place that I know I need to grow a lot more in, I would say it's my finances. Like, I feel like I'm immature when it comes to my finances still, and that's not something I'm proud of. It's something I know I have to work on, basically. So we're getting there soon. Okay, what else was I saying? I was talking about like, guess my goals, but pretty much like fitness, faith, and finances. 3 F's. Those are all things we're working on. I guess those are like the three main things I want to focus on for the rest of this year. And just, just have like a better attitude about it, and just be like really focused on those things. So that is a sneak peek for those of you guys who care of some of my goals for the rest of this year. I'm still not in a place where I'm like, I really feel like solid in my job or in my career. Like, I feel like a lot of that stuff is still not certain for me, but I know that I'm in a better place than I was 6 months ago, and that over time things will get better. You just have to keep working. Oh, y'all, I am feeling what's that word? Unsteady, but there's like a medical term for it. Inertia. It's not inertia. Unbalanced, but the medical term for like unbalanced, when you feel like your motion, it's not motion sickness. I can't think of what it's called, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I hate when I do that where I can't think of a word, but I know what I'm talking about. Someone fill in the blanks for me there. Anyways, that's the quick update I'm gonna give you guys. And I guess only time will tell if I meet my goals, if I, improve or not. I do think like I was doing really good with my finances up until like my last paycheck. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to make excuses, but essentially I did have unbudgeted expenses that when it came to my car, so I ended up having to repurchase parts for my car. Oh shoot, that just reminded me I have to return this transmission. Oh, or not transmission, compressor, whatever it's called. I have to return this compressor I bought for my AC that was wrong. But basically, I had to repurchase something, a major car part that I was not planning to have to repurchase. Thankfully, and this is where I have to look on the bright side, I was able to repurchase it, but that kind of threw off my budget a lot. Then I paid for the service. So basically, like $600 of the $900 I made went to my car, right? Which sucks for last week. So, and then I did like a huge grocery shop. Don't tell me why I was like, let me spend $160 on groceries, but I spent $160 on groceries at Aldi's, which is not like a horrible amount to spend. It's just like I really did not need to spend $160. I could have spent $60 and been just fine, especially considering that I went most of this week without eating any food. So just like not making the best financial decisions, and I have still been doing some shopping. I will say like I was doing really good for like June, July, and then I did have like a kind of shopping spree happen last weekend, and I went to TJ Maxx and Burlington and got a bunch of stuff, and Ulta. So other than that, though, we were doing good. But I don't plan on doing any more shops. I honestly think for me too, like, it's better if I go like 3 months without shopping and do one big shop than me be having like, okay, you're going shopping and spending like $200 every weekend on things you don't need, which is what I was doing before. So I know it's not like the end of the world, but I'm like, Jasmine, you did not need to buy any of that stuff you just bought. But I always just accept my fate. Honestly, I'm always just like, well, you already bought it. But I probably do need to start like making myself return things. The actual issue is that I use like payment plans or pay in four plans when I shop, so like returning those items won't give me my money back immediately anyway, so it's like, what's the point? But really it's still, I don't know, y'all. Anyways, that is the update with that. So basically I had $600 all go to my car. I also still have the rest of my fine I have to pay for my ticket, which is close to $1,000 I have to spend. And even just thinking about having to spend another $1,000 for a traffic ticket, y'all, is crazy. I'm like, that's literally someone's rent that y'all want me to pay. So my only other option with that is they said like, oh, you can also take care of it by doing 107 hours of community service. And I'm just like, babes, it took me 3 months almost, technically 2 months, to complete the first 60 hours, and now you're telling me 100 hours is what 107 more hours of community service I could do to take care of the rest of my fine. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. We'll see. It might be more beneficial. I don't know. I was planning on just paying off the rest of my fine and being done, but the car problems, the car issues have put a damper in kind of a lot of my other things, because I've been prioritizing getting my car fixed over those other things. So maybe that's not smart, but at the time it seemed like the better, like, I need to have transportation, you know? Sorry, y'all, I had to finish my vitamin C drink. So anyways, that's been kind of a delay because I'm like, ugh, honestly, my fine should have already been paid, but just freaking life and me also kind of having to use money for other things because of poor financial decisions. There's just so much. There's so much I have to learn. Still learning, still growing every day, and still having to sometimes learn the hard way, unfortunately. Anyways, life has humbled me enough times where I'm just like, we're not even going to stress about a lot of, like, some of the stuff is not worth stressing about. But my living situation, I'm just trusting God with that. The options are either my dad's gonna let my mom help me pay off the rest of the house, so I can be added to the title and that way I can still stay here, or I'm gonna have to look for another place. And right now I don't have the best credit. I also don't have Like my finances right now, it's not horrendous, but it's really not what I need to be making to comfortably pay rent somewhere. Like if I did have to move out, it would definitely be like very hard and difficult for a little bit, especially without like having the savings I really want to have. Um but we'll see. You know what? It also might happen that, my dad is able to rent out his house but realizes that it's more work than he actually is able to do, and he'll probably end up trying to see if I'll take it again. I don't know what my dad's gonna do. But anyways, that's kind of all I can update you guys with the living situation. I told my dad, like, for me to move out, realistically, I would need probably until, like, September. It's August, so I think that is still true. But honestly, because I still have this fine I have to pay, as long as I can pay it, like half of it this month and the other half in September, I think I'll be okay. It's just like the longer it takes me to pay, the more I have to pay, basically, is why it sucks. But we're gonna get everything done. Everything will be okay. God has a plan, and I'm just gonna trust that over, sometimes what it feels like. And I just know, like, there's a lot of people younger than me who have been living on their own and doing things on their own for so much longer. I definitely feel like I've had a kind of bubble of protection with my parents who've helped me a lot. And I do think, like, maybe my my parents see me as like their biggest problem child in a way, which I'm like, I kind of am, but I'm not trying to be. I just feel like I've had like the least I've had the least amount of just like stability out of all of my siblings. My two younger siblings are in the military, so there's a lot of stability there. My older sister also was in the military, and she gets a disability check from that. So even though she doesn't really have to work, and she still gets paid. Me, on the other hand, I've had to work for every penny that I get. I've had all of these jobs going up and down. So I honestly think the only reason my parents have supported me this much is because I probably have needed it the most out of me and my siblings. I don't know. My mom has told me a lot of times that I'm the child that she has to worry about the most right now. She said it switches between me and my older sister, or it switches between us at different times depending on the situation. But she said I'm the one that stresses her out the most, which I'm sorry, Mom. Look, my life stresses me out too, but I try not to let it. My youngest sister told me the same thing. She's just like, listening to you and all of your problems makes me sad. And I was just like, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my life is so stressful to you for you to listen to, but imagine living it. Anyways, everything will be just fine. I think it's taken me a lot longer to just figure out my whole life. Well, here's the thing. Your whole life doesn't have to be figured out. At the end of the day, like, I'm still mostly young. I have a lot of learning and growing to still do. I'm 28. Yes, in some people's minds, I should be way further ahead in a career, have my own place, and have all of these other things. And, I gave up. I stopped putting myself pressure on some of those things because I'm like, I've been trying so hard to get them and just failing. But I also know there's still like just a lot of maturing I have to do overall as a person. I also do think though, like, the job I currently have, working with kids, I know I'm mature to have the job that I have. Not even just because you're like taking care of kids, but there's just so much more that goes into it that you really do have to have a certain level of maturity. But I also think too, like, working with kids is easy because they're kids, and let me take that back. It's not easy. It's not easy unless you actually just enjoy kids. But anyways, I actually enjoy my job most of the time, so that's good. I haven't really been able to say that about a lot of other jobs I've had. I do have the opportunity to potentially get a flight attendant job, but I don't know if it's worth taking or if it's worth pursuing because I don't feel very passionate about it at this moment. I do think, like, I could see myself being a flight attendant in the future, just not right now. Like, maybe next year I would like look into doing that again, but I just want to be like, I feel like before I would try to be a flight attendant, I definitely need to have like way more savings and way more just stability. So maybe next year that might be like a career change I consider, because that was something I tried to do outside of college and I was really young. Also, the other ways, because let's just talk about this real quick. I feel like there are certain areas where I definitely am still immature, as I've said before. My financial situation, I still live, technically with parents, but my dad's not here. And I've also lived on my own most of my adult life. Like, in college, I lived on my own. Like, it's not like, I don't think living on your own necessarily makes you mature. Like, I've had to pay a water bill, electricity bill, like all of those things that people act like I've never paid before because they watch one video on my channel and think like I don't have any other life experiences. But I paid rent before. I paid all of those bills before. Like, it's not like paying rent or paying bills is new to me. I'm just saying, there's certain things that there's always room for me to mature in certain areas. Anyways, one area I do think I'm more mature in is I am not a party girl. I am not someone who liked going out. And I feel like that is an area I'm super mature in. Like, I do not get the hype of like going out and drinking. Like, spare me. If y'all watch Love Island, y'all know that reference. But like, I don't know. I see some people who they're like, they're in their 30s, 20s, whatever, and they just never get tired of that. And I just personally don't find going out drinking super entertaining. And honestly, even when I was in college and that was like the normal thing to do, I feel like I got tired of it too. I like daytime activities, festivals, carnivals. I say all of that, but then I'm like, I still enjoy, like, I don't know, I like things that are fun. Also, I don't think there's anything wrong with just having like I don't know, a lot of times we call people immature for like appearance, based off of like appearance wise things. Like my sister says my room's immature, which in some ways I'm like, yes, but it's also like, it's just the things that I like are different from yours. We have different tastes. You know, if what makes something mature is it has to be bland and boring and void of color, why are we saying that that's what makes something mature? Anyways, that's another topic of conversation. But I just think like every person is different. You know, maturity is not about, you know, an aesthetic. It's really just about like your mentality on certain areas, you know, how state, like, it's just really, it's your mindset at the end of the day. So I do think like I understand like the fact that I can recognize my financial immaturity is a maturity, but at the same time, my prefrontal cortex is finally developed, maybe. Now that I'm close to 30, it better be. I don't feel my age most of the time. Like, I forget, oh yeah, you're freaking 28. Like, so much expectations of me as a 28-year-old, but in reality, I still feel like I just graduated from college sometimes. Like, what? Like, I know I've done a lot between then and now, but it still feels like, what did I actually do? Because I have almost nothing to show for it. In a sense, I mean, I have the experiences and I gained what I gained from it is the life experience, right? And now I have the stories of what I learned and how I grew and what I went through and how this taught me this and this experience taught me that. Like, that's really what I gained between that time. But in a lot of ways, I feel like I don't meet the expectations of what society would say where I should be at, maybe at my age. But I know there's a lot of people who can relate to that, and that is why a lot of people do enjoy my videos, who are in similar situations or feel the same way. I'm still like learning and trying and growing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I have all the answers. I do think though, for me specifically and personally, a lot of my struggles are also tied to like my faith, and also tied to just like, am I trusting God fully? Am I letting God guide me, or am I still trying to, you know, do what I think is best and what I think, you know, will have the best outcome? And that's where I have to be like, okay, am I trusting God enough? Am I trusting God fully, or am I still, you know, trying to trust myself and do just what I think is best? So I'm trying to take a step back in my own like journey and see like, okay, well, you know, what is it that I actually want out of my life, out of my career? And I think I started this year making a video titled like my life goals, back when I was like super motivated for all of these things that I wanted to do this year. And now it's closer to the end of the year. Like, where the heck did all the time go? There's only 5 months left of 2024. But it's so crazy to think that the beginning of this year, I had so much like hope for, I spent the first 6 months at a job that I could hardly afford to pay. Like, I could not pay my bills, and was struggling, fighting for my life. Finally got a job where there's a little more stability, thank goodness. Also, the other thing, this is random thought that just popped in my head, so sorry for this switch in topics, but like, so much of, I feel like, people's a lot of times people are really just trying to keep up with other people. Like, oh, well, I see this person has this, and this person is there in their life, and this person is doing this, and that. So that's what makes people feel like they're missing out, or they're behind, or they're not doing good enough in their own lives. When in reality, like, you can't compare your journey and your story to someone else's, because you live your life, and your life, it is not gonna be the same as my life experiences. Like, we all have our own journeys. Like, there's people my age, even like my own parents. I was thinking about my mom at my age, was married with 3 kids at this point. Yeah, she was married with 3 kids. By my point, had way more life experiences than I do now. It does seem like, though, like, my generation is like, they get married later, have kids later. Like, why? I don't know why it seems like we're not like rushing into like marriage and kids as much as like our parents' generation did, which I'm sure there's like a study on this about why that is. But it's just like, and then like, even there, they were seen as late compared to the older generations. Like, it just seems like my grandparents' generation, my grandma probably got married when she was like 21 or something. Actually, I don't know how old my grandma was when she got married. I forgot to ask her. I just saw something I cannot unsee, and I am not okay. Okay, gotta go, guys. Gotta go. I saw a spider in my window. Why do I keep seeing all the freaking bugs right now? Like, I hate this for me. Well, that's pretty much gonna be the end of my video, because now I'm traumatized that there's bugs near my bed and I don't see where it went anymore. It's like the worst feeling ever. Like, when you see a bug but you don't see where it goes, so that you're just like, I'm being so dramatic right now. But seriously, y'all, like, I saw a spider, but I don't know where it went. I'm not gonna think about it. There's like that statistic, like, you swallow so many spiders in your sleep. Like, I'd rather just not think about it and pretend like the bugs don't exist and everything's okay. Anyways, comparison's the thief of joy. Just because you're not at a certain place in your life doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Doesn't mean you're behind. Doesn't mean, it doesn't mean anything more than that you are on a different path, a different journey than other people's. What is meant for you will be for you. Focus on the path that God has for you. My path, I was thinking this and laughing the other day. I'm like, God gave me like the strongest soldiers. God chose me to be one of the strongest soldiers or whatever. It was just like this meme I saw, just like because I was going through it earlier this week with like my car stuff. But honestly, I am still very blessed in a lot of ways at the end of the day. I do have a family that is more supportive, you know. I have a lot of things to be grateful and thankful for. So I always just try to look for the positive. But regardless of what happens, God's got me and I'll be okay. And I hope everyone watching this knows the same for whatever situation they're in. But yeah. Also, I just want to say, I feel like I do be blabbing my mouth a lot on the internet, but I really just have gotten to this point where I'm like, I do not like, nor do I need everybody knowing my business. So honestly, I don't know. I really haven't decided, but I kind of like being incognito a little bit more and like not sharing things about my life until like way later, only because like I don't like everyone knowing my business, right? Like everyone doesn't need to know everything you're dealing with, going through at all times. Like sometimes you just need to like get through that situation first, learn the lesson and then share it, versus like sharing the struggle as you're going through it, which is what I had been doing for a lot of the videos I've shared. So I almost would rather have like, I don't know, like the daily or weekly updates be like for Patreon members only, and then like the maybe like once a month. I was basically making a life update once a day with some of how I was posting, but I think I might switch it to like maybe once a month, and maybe not even, maybe like once every 3 months, because I like having like some privacy. And like even with my Instagram, like it's so much more fun posting. Like I haven't posted on my Instagram in almost a year, and you know, I'm posting things now that happened last year, but I'm just like, it's kind of fun and nice knowing people don't know what I'm up to at all times, and not posting on my story, not trying to keep up with like what everyone else is doing all the time, and just living my life and not having like, I'm not gonna say like not considering other people's, it's just like not like you there's less of the drive or need to compare yourself to other people's also. So that is something I do like about not posting on social media frequently, and I probably will keep doing that. So some of y'all might not like that. I'm so sorry, but I gotta do what's best for me and my mental health. And honestly, like I'm like 2 months behind with my vlogs, and I kind of love that I'm not posting things super close to when they happen, because it gives me time to like process what I actually go through before having people comment on it. And because I do be going through things, like I'd rather have it be like already be past the situation and someone commenting on it versus still be in the situation, you know? That's all I'm gonna say. All right, that's all for this video. Peace out.